If the shooting was a deliberate miss, it was one of the most extraordinary acts of marksmanship of all time, I think. I think where the conspiracy theories immediately, the reason why the conspiracy theories immediately crept in is because it was so very obviously, or very obvious to so many people, that there had been a massive security failure. The Secret Service did uh, take too long to stop the shooter. It became very clear from early reports that lots of people in the crowd had spotted him on a roof. The fact that he was on a roof so close, 400 feet from Donald Trump with a clear line of sight. And when you have a cock up like that, conspiracy theories tend to creep in because no one can quite believe that everything could be so hapless and so rubbish. And so inevitably, you had people on the left, Trump haters on the left, saying, it's staged. Trump had a gel pack in his hand that he sort of squeezed blood and squashed it against his face while he was down. There was an interesting one about that the shoes were somehow part of the conspiracy theory, which was not a conspiracy theory that the assassination was real, but it revealed that Trump's shoes give him extra height. And that's why he was so concerned to put them back on when he went down, was because he was embarrassed about not being as tall as he pretends to be. It is an industry, and of course, the most famous man who's benefited from this industry is Alex Jones, who runs this channel, InfoWars, which is a sort of conspiracy-obsessed news channel that I'm sure a lot of your viewers will already know about. But it is everything in America eventually becomes about business, and now conspiracy theories are big business. It's a great way to drive engagement on the internet because people are curious and people are bored. And conspiracy theories, even if you hate them, are always interesting, and they always have been. I also think there's something very American about it. Richard Hofstadter, the historian, talked about the paranoid style in US politics. And it's always been something deep in the American character to think that the man or some sinister government force is always trying to keep you down or to betray something that you believe in through nefarious methods, through sinister plots and so on.
So it is becoming more widespread, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And partly that's because we're always downstream from America culturally. I also think it's because, if this isn't too pious a point to make, in a kind of post-Christian, post-religious world, nobody really knows what's true anymore. Nobody has a clear idea of what is true anymore. And so the truth is frantically up for debate. And people increasingly think if I feel something, it's true. And therefore, if I see a conspiracy theory online and it taps into something that appeals to me, I can believe it. And you can't say I'm wrong because I believe it. And that is the sort of strange combination of narcissism and the internet that makes conspiracy theory so potent now. Trump is into conspiracy theories, but he's a product of a world that likes conspiracy theories rather than being the kind of conspiracy theorist in chief. He knows how to play on the paranoia of people. And he is one of these people that just has a sort of curious interest in wacky ideas, like the idea that, bleach might cure COVID or something. Most statesmen would think that's probably something you should keep to yourselves. But Trump, in that sort of spirit of modern conspiracy theory, just thinks, why not share it with everyone? And if you want to believe it, you can believe it. I think he certainly has winked at, if not directly at QAnon, but at sort of QAnon thinking in the past. And the interesting thing about it, I think, is it's a sort of scale of conspiracy theory thinking. You can think quite rightly that it's a bit odd that the Biden administration has pursued this very vigorous and multifaceted campaign against one person, Donald Trump, who happens to be their political opponent. And that's a sort of, rational attempt to try and understand what's happened with Donald Trump and all these legal cases. And then you can go and get to the gradually down to the other end of the scale where you think, there's a satanic pedophilic elite who are being confronted by Donald Trump, who's been sent by God to destroy them. And it's quite funny how in this strange world, digital online world that we live in, you can sort of slip across this spectrum quite easily, often without even realizing it yourself. I mean, I know with Pizzagate and things like that, you watch these videos and you think, well, Pizzagate, of course, was the theory that Hillary Clinton was running a child abusing network from a pizza parlor in Washington, D.C. And I remember watching a video of it and thinking, what a load of nonsense. But then, they catch you with something. They'll say, oh, the FBI have this list of terms that, and before you know it, luckily you come to your senses pretty quickly if you're not actually already mad. But you think, oh, that's odd. And as soon as you start thinking, oh, that's odd, then you're on the path to buying into a pretty terrible and bananas conspiracy theory. The thing about including an element or a grain of truth and then building a kind of superstructure of nonsense on top of it, I think the best example of that is my favorite current conspiracy theory in light of the shootings, which is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is running against Biden and Trump as an independent candidate in this presidential election, the theory is he in fact died in 1999 in a plane crash, and that someone called Vince Fusha, who is an ardent Trump supporter, has taken on his life, is pretending to be him and is pretending to be this presidential candidate. And he happened to be at the Trump rally behind Donald Trump on Saturday when Trump was shot at. And so what a lot of conspiracy theorists have done is they've reverse engineered that to come up with the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. died in 99 story. And then they've said, oh, and isn't it funny that he's been pretending to be Robert F. Kennedy? This guy, Vince Fusha, has been pretending to be Robert F. Kennedy Jr. all this time. And he just happened to be at the shooting behind Donald Trump. And you can see how, when you think about it, suddenly you start thinking, oh, that is odd if I think about it in that way. But of course, it's total nonsense. He doesn't even look like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. One of the great problems of the world at the moment is all the smartest, most intelligent minds in the world for the last 15 years have applied themselves to trying to figure out how can we get you completely gripped by something online? How can we get you to repeat click on things? And one of the most effective ways of doing that is to get people gripped on things that are curious, odd. You can't figure out whether it's complete nonsense or you're quite interested by it. And that is fuel for conspiracy theories. So algorithms are very much to blame for this, I think, more so than perhaps the American tendency to be a bit paranoid.